This game is weird. It's Hellboy, Web of Weird, or is it Web of Wired? Hellboy, Web of Weird, Wired, Word, Wired Up. No idea what this game is. It's on the Nintendo Switch, a game provided by the Maryland Library System. It's probably a YTF. We're not off to a great start anyway, because the game looks kind of terrible and the frame rate's bad. Might be 15 frames a second for the walking animation, 30 tops for the backgrounds. I mean, I guess that to be fair, I want to say some graphic novels have adopted a style similar to this in the last 2 decades, so I'm not surprised. The names escape me. I haven't read that many graphic novels, but I have seen this style in some graphic novels in the, say like the 21st century. But I'm not sure it works like this. Like compared to something like Grease, where this kind of incredibly high contrast line art becomes amazing, and Grease is one of the best looking video games of all time. This, however, seems like not that, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, the L button is to focus. And I think we're supposed to be headed up to one of these towers. So this is a character action brawler that kind of looks like a it looks like an over the shoulder arena brawler in a way, like Naruto, Ultimate Storm, all those games. You have the Naruto games, Kill la Kill If, Seven Deadly Sins. Like it looks like one of those. I mean, God of War. Yeah, this is a we have God of War at home. Hellboy is the original God of War. I pressed the Y button, not the A button. Okay, so the A button is to do that. It just takes a while to get the animation to go. Okay. You probably won't be able to hear the voice acting 'cause I'm not interested in adding it. We'll probably think about adding it later. This is just a research stream. But I played this game for about half an hour before starting this video a couple of weeks ago. It's really bad. Like it looks really, really, really bad once the combat starts. So this is going to be this is going to be a problem, I'm afraid. Okay, so Hellboy isn't played by like Ron Perlman. I want to say he's a familiar. I want to say he's a familiar voice actor. I think he's actually a black dude. I forget his name, but that's a very familiar sounding voice. If I pick it out, I'll let you know. But like I said, I'm not adding any audio to this. Hold on. So you have to hold down the Y button, right? Yeah, hold down the Y button. I don't see a health bar, so I'm not complaining. I swear I've heard this voice before, like in a commercial for like not Old Spice, but I swear I've heard this voice before. It's driving me nuts. I know this. I know this voice, dude. I know that voice. Well, if you know me, I'm like an animation nerd, so I hear a lot of very familiar voices in video games. So I'm curious if that's the situation here. Duck. Oh, wrong button. Dodge back. Okay, Scarlet Witch. Hold on. Block. You said Wyrd, right? Ow. So I do have a health meter. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this frame rate is not holding up. I was afraid of that. I mean, like again, why do the? I guess yeah, discount God of War. So I guess this game is interesting in that sense, where it's like, hey, you can do God of War on a low spec, laptop or something. Like if you were to make like a low spec budget God of War, this might be it. But I mean, in my mind, God of War should have been better. Was better off as a in its original PlayStation 2 form, where it was like easier to like see around you. But because they felt the need to bring the camera really close, it became that over the shoulder brawler. But yeah, the original God of War was like a traditional like zoom the camera out, roam around. It wasn't really a belt scroller, but yeah, it was definitely like an it was like a zoom out, basically something of a top down action game, sure, a top down brawler. You could move around freely, but it wasn't like a belt scroller in the sense of like the Ninja Turtles or Double Dragon games where you could slide up or down as the axis. You had free range of you had free direct you had omnidirectional controls. And God of War made it work because it was a top down action game. But this over the shoulder thing again that's not. I have lots of problems with the God of War PS4 remake. I documented some of them on this channel because I tried playing the game for a couple of hours on those videos. But this over the shoulder combat is fine for God of War. That's not the problem I have with the game. Now what? Sherzad. Wyrd. Wyrd up. Yeah, what was it? The animated film. There was an animated Hellboy movie that came out with was it Perry Gilpin from Frasier? She was in the movie? I remember really liking that. Tad Stones, I believe, was the writer on that one. I do need to. I want to say it's streaming on Tubi. That Hellboy animated movie came out in like the late '90s, early 2000s, right around the time the movie came out. I remember kind of liking it, mainly because I like the voice acting in it. Because Ron Perlman's a guy who's done a lot of great voice acting, obviously in animation. I remember him from Fam 2040. Other than Fam 2040, what else was he? He was in Gargoyles, wasn't he? But yeah, Fam 2040. He was Graft in the original in the first season of Fam 2040. So yeah, he was really good in that. Perry Gilpin's interesting because I want to say after Frasier blew up, she started getting some roles in animated shows and movies. Yeah, she was in the Final Fantasy animated film, the Spirits Within, that 1996-97 animated film. She was in that, and she was in the Hellboy animated film, but I don't remember what else she really did. Like I remember David Alan Grier got some voice acting roles around the same time. It was a thing in the '90s. If you were a high-profile television actor, they tried to get you to do some animation as well, sort of for prestige. And in a weird way, a lot of shows, a lot of producers would try to hire big name, television talent to do animated series. So you would get guys like Ed Asner getting Emmy nominations for Captain Planet. Jeff Goldblum, I think was Of course, he was a TV actor at the time, obviously. But it's like, yeah, they would get Jeff Goldblum to do Captain Planet with Ed Asner. Tim Curry got Emmy nominations for that bizarre Captain Hook performance and Peter Pan and the Pirates. The load times in this are really bad. Wow. But yeah, Peter Pan and the Pirates got Emmy nominations back in the '90s. The '90s were weird. Look, dude, the late '80s, early '90s were weird when it came to Emmy nominations. They were really bad. Like every celebrity would get nominated for a best performance in an animated series. Heck, Jackie Chan got nominated for Jackie Chan Adventures, and all he was a live action book. He was a live action performer who would do these live action bookends at the beginning and end of the show. But the actual voice actor for who played the Jackie Chan character in that cartoon never got nominated. It was James Say. Yeah, the guy who actually played Jackie Chan in the animated show, never got nominated. But they nominated Jackie Chan, who barely showed up for like 30 seconds on any episode. He would do a few parlor tricks. But and look, Jackie Chan's done a lot of terrible animated stuff. Have you ever seen Jackie Chan's Fantasia? Do yourself a favor. Go on Tubi TV. Watch like the first 10 minutes of any episode of Jackie Chan's Fantasia. The dub is hilarious. It's probably one of the worst animated series I've ever seen. They probably use AI speak and spell for the localization on that thing. That it is a disaster. Now, why am I talking about that? Because Ron Perlman never got. I don't think Ron Perlman ever got an Emmy nomination for any of the voice acting he did, which is a shame. But again, he's the kind of guy who probably could get that nomination because by the time, what was that motorcycle show? Um, Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, by the time he was doing Sons of Anarchy, he was really popular. So if he were doing animated shows then, and I think he was, he probably would get nominated for a few Emmys. It would, in other words, the nominators would submit his name for consideration with with a sizzle reel of his best one-liners or whatever. That's what I mean. It's like when you're nominating these voice actors, you aren't doing it based on their performance as a whole. You're submitting their name for consideration because it's like, oh, I know that guy. He's great in Hellboy. Or I love that guy. He's great in Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, he was Beauty and the Beast in the original CBS Beauty and the Beast series from 1990. Yeah, he played alongside Linda Hamilton, the Terminator herself. Well, Sarah Connor from the Terminator films. So yeah, I mean, he was the Beast. Linda Hamilton was the Beauty, and they got. Although, I mean, I would argue Ron Perlman never really popped off until the late '90s, early 2000s, like when Hellboy came out, right? Then of course, Sons of Anarchy kind of put him over the top. I mean, apparently he was always a good actor. I mean, I've obviously seen him in a few movies, but I don't remember if he ever got like the cred that he eventually wound up getting in the early 2000s. And of course, by the time Sons of Anarchy comes out, you're like, yeah, this guy's probably in that B tier, the high B tier. Like he's not Oscar caliber. Like he might get an Oscar nomination eventually if he hasn't already gotten one. Yeah, but he's a genre. He's a character actor. He's a lead actor. I guess yeah. I would argue he's in that Dwayne. He's not in in terms of commercial viability. He's not in the Dwayne Johnson category, but he has more cred as a serious actor than Dwayne Johnson. Yes. So I would argue he doesn't have the cred. He doesn't have the artistic gravitas of like a Sylvester Stallone. But I would argue he gives much better performances in his movies than Sylvester Stallone did. I mean, is that a fair statement to make? Ron Perlman's a better actor than Sly. Is that a fair statement? Is that a hot take? Hey, Robert Altman. I know this guy. It's driving me nuts. I know this VA, and it's driving me nuts. I have to go to the credits. Yeah, well, it's not here, is it? No, it's not. That's okay. What's this payback? Taking this will slowly fill your payback. Yeah, so it's an ultimate attack meter. Fine. Hmm. Oh wait, this is randomly generated. Yeah, this is procedurally generated, isn't it? Right. So here's the problem. If you look at the box, it basically explains nothing. It's a kind of a it's like some really it's comic book cover art. Then if you go to the back, there's no description of what this game is at all. So there's your problem. It there's no if you saw this box on a shelf, you would have no idea what kind of game this was. It's just Hellboy doing Hellboy things. Like it's 3 pictures on the back of the box. Like don't even tell like what kind of game is it? Is it an action game? Because I'm playing this video and I'm like, okay, maybe this is like God of War. It's an over-the-shoulder brawler. I mean, terrible frame rate. I mean, it looks like I think the copyright here is 2019. Hellboy, Mike. How do you pronounce his name? Mike Mignola. How do you pronounce that? Again, I'm an idiot. Help me out. Mike Minola. Mike Mignola. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. But I'm hooked on phonics, so it's Mike Mignola, I suppose. Yeah, this looks like God of War. The art style is closer to like Void Bastards, if you remember that game on PC from like 5 years ago. It's laptop friendly if you have a relatively, modern $300 budget laptop. It should run on that actually. And where are we going? Here we go. Making progress. I'm trying to speak to him. Oh, wow. Yeah, where's Selma Blair? Is Selma Blair in this game? Duty. Wyrd. Wait, that's Crispin Freeman. Yeah, that's all. That's Crispin Freeman. Okay. I'm surprised he's not. I'm surprised he's not Hellboy. So now I'm wondering who Hellboy is. They got Crispin Freeman to play a side character. Yeah, these days, Crispin Freeman's like he's not like in Nolan North territory, but he gets a lot of gigs. It's Spike Spiegel. I'd put Spike Spiegel in a Hellboy video game. Sure. Yeah, they got Spike Spiegel in a Hellboy game, but he's not playing Hellboy. Wait, is that her? Is that Selma Blair? Nah, she doesn't spit fire. I haven't seen the movies. Yeah, the first film apparently made a lot of money when it came out, by the way.
It was built in the 40s by Pasquale Deneve, a French occultist. He disappeared 5 years ago and hasn't been seen since. The house was abandoned. Now it's a local legend. The Butterfly House.
I don't recognize this voice.
There's no vandalism, no wildlife. It just remained like this, untouched. And kind of creepy. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, like if you told me like Vin Diesel played the voice of Hellboy, I believe you. But yeah, this dude's driving me nuts. I swear I know this voice. I have to go to when we're done with the game. I might go to the credits. But yeah, this is not going to be a long video. It's just a research stream because I think it's a procedurally generated game based on the way they're describing it. It's like, yeah, let's make God of War meets Dead Cells. Sounds amazing in concept, right? Hope the frame rate holds up. You know, like Hades. Yeah, Hades meets God of War. I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, if you were gonna make Hades if you're gonna make a licensed Hellboy video game, why not make Hades? But I would argue make Hellboy a top-down brawler like God of War. Don't make Hellboy like an over-the-shoulder PlayStation 4 sequel to God of War. Yeah, the concept seems on point. If that's what they're doing here, then I'm like, yeah, then just make Hades. But make it look like God of War, so he can run around, you can run around and come to bed, like Kratos does. I have the PlayStation 3 collection of God of War, 60 frames a second. Gotta play that. I'll get around to it. I was supposed to play it during Halloween. I might play it. Honestly, I might just play it eventually, and then put the videos up when something God of War related comes out. You know how it goes. Yeah. Hmm. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, without getting too specific, I'm not really a huge fan of this particular kind of art style. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Batman the Animated Series. So I'm not opposed to this kind of, like, high contrast art style, but it drives me nuts when I see it done poorly, and I don't want to go down this road. I want to be the next Basil and get clubbed on the internet because I had a nasty comment about someone else's art style, but it's like I'm not a huge fan of this. It's striking, but actually kind of blah, if that makes sense. Like it stands out, but I've seen a lot of comics do this, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the idea of what they're trying to do here. I just don't really care much for this kind of. In other words, the details they choose to emphasize here don't really strike me as really that impressive. Like the line quality of something like Grease is a bit more obvious because that's what is that? That's like something closer to like the 1800s, right? I forget the arts. I'm not an art historian, but that I prefer that kind of geometric art style where everything feels more precise. I mean, I can understand it's appropriate here in a way because that's kind of what Hellboy is. It's basically like shining. Like how do I describe it? It's like I guess you had. I guess it's like how would you describe this art style? Because it's like what kind of light are like if you look at any building here. Again, an art historian would be able to a art history student be able to fill me in on this. Okay, I wasn't paying. Oh yes, we're doing Hades blessings. Okay, here we go. So yeah, look at some of these buildings here. Look at the shadows here. I kind of like how they like have one side of the building be like all shadow basically, the other one just being like stark. So it has that kind of well, it's not nightmarish, so it does have that kind of dreamy. It does achieve something of a dreamy look. Like this to me looks like say imagine if this were like a western, or it's like a something set in like the old west, something set in like Mexico or something, like the desert portions of Mexico. Like this is a cool vibe for that. So this I think this is a good idea of an application of that art style. But for me, I think the line quality here is just incredibly sloppy. Like in other words, I don't think the line work does a really good job of like selling the character. Maybe it's too impressionistic. I don't know if that's the right word, but okay, increase the amount of creates a chance for enemies to drop health instead of. I'll take that. So we're getting Hades curse. We're getting Hades blessings now. That's cool. Like I said, we're probably gonna give this thing about half an hour and then give these levels another. We'll die a couple of times, see what happens. What was that? Oh, want me to dash through here, right? Yeah, dash through there. Well, that was really dumb. So I'm gonna need some health pickups. Ow. Bad dodge. I wanted to take him out first. Oh, so everyone else died when I killed the elite, huh? Are they dropping health? But yeah, I'm not really a fan of this camera angle here. Like again, in a game like God of War, I think everything was usually in front of you, so it's not really a problem. But now you got to do this thing where you like keep your back to the wall to make sure people don't sneak up on you. So again, from a basic user interface standpoint, this kind of stuff drives me nuts. Because if everything isn't directly in front of you, then you constantly have to move around and look and like move the camera so that enemies don't sneak up on you. And again, if the camera were zoomed out and this were a top-down action game, that wouldn't be a problem. Or be less of a problem. I mean, obviously in games like Final Fight, like enemies could hit you from the other side of enemies can hit you while they're off screen. Like if Nintendo Power would constantly complain about that. And I understand it's a reasonable complaint because in a game like Final Fight that's hard, you have to kind of stay away from the edges of the screen because enemies can punch you and attack you or initiate attacks from outside of your display area. Like the worst thing that could ever happen in a Final Fight run is that an enemy does a jumping attack like a fatal leaping attack from off screen that you can't see coming because they initiated the attack from outside of the screen. Okay, so there's a meter on the top right hand corner of the screen. There's a meter on the top right hand corner of the screen that shows the boss and the minions, I guess. So maybe we don't have to beat the minions at all. Maybe we just have to defeat the elite. So yeah, they split like in Hades, they split things up into individual rooms. That's fine. Again, if this were just if this were like a Hades looking game, I think all this would be fine. And you could keep the art style too. I mean, Hades is a very good art style. But it's like they committed too much to this over the shoulder God of War thing. Got him. I just think they committed too much to this God of War thing. This PS4 God of War thing. They should have stuck to the PS2 God of War. We just made the combat work better. And the frame rate's not amazing either, so the whole thing's really choppy. I'm capturing at 60 frames a second, but I might not need it. I think 30 might be more than enough. See, I admit this art style's pretty polarizing, but I think it's possible to do it well. Just depends. It's like you know how it is. People don't like the anime art style, but because some people do very bad anime art, they do very bad. They do very bad Tezuka art, which is always the problem. It's like you can try to ape a style, a specific type of anime artist, but a lot of people just aren't any good at it. If I tried to draw a Tezuka figure, it would look terrible because I'm not able to command his precision the way that a good Tezuka student can. I can't draw Miyazaki art. Like Miyazaki doesn't draw that much detail in his. There isn't much line detail in Miyazaki's drawings, for example. At least in his character designs. Like in the faces, no. But he's very good at drawing expressive. Whoops. He's very good at drawing expressive, caricatures. And if he wants to draw things like people's clothing, like he's good at that too. But Miyazaki's, well, I need a key, of course. And the ZR meter is full, so we'll do that if we get into a fight next time. I can't run. But yeah, Miyazaki's art isn't really like super highly detailed, and the animation isn't really extravagant, but it's expressive. That's the thing. Like Miyazaki, I remember if you saw the documentary that Miyazaki did, the NHK documentary, he's clearly like, I mean, he's an animator by training, sure, but it's like when you there's a bit where his son Goro Miyazaki is drawing a character. I forget what anime he's working. I think it's like Poppy Hill. I think he's working on the Poppy Hill anime, and they're having problems with the character design. Like I don't even know where I'm going. Is there a map? Let me check. Give me a second. They want to find something big, etc. and so forth. Block. Why block? Dodge counter. Hold Y. Yep. Again, I don't like this over-the-shoulder combat in this free-roaming space. It generally works in God of War, from what I remember, the original PS4 God of War. It seemed to work. It's because most of the enemies you were fighting were in front of you, I guess. But my memory of God of War isn't that the combat was bad. It's that the level design was really linear, and it was basically a linear boss rush. And at some point, I just got sick of getting into these really long fights against hit spongy enemies that have like a million hit points. Like Loki was the obvious problem, but then there's like all these other big set pieces they do that they just got tiring. Because it's like I don't mind dealing with mobs, but most of the game's combat is based on these one-on-one duels that just get really boring. Again, they're set pieces. I just think that these game set pieces go on way too long. They wear out their welcome. And that's not a problem in a good brawler. How do I get a key? Do I have to go a different direction? Oh. No, is this just an obstacle or can I actually beat this thing up? Yeah, didn't seem to be affecting it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. It doesn't feel like I'm able to break this. So how do I get a key? Should I just leave? I guess I can just leave because if I need a key to get through, I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time trying to get here. So we'll do one more run, I guess. I mean, this sounds like the kind of game if I gave it another hour, I'd probably hate it, but I am sort of curious about the gameplay loop. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going now. If I need a key, I don't know where to get it. So we'll go back to the hub. So I got a different seed. Yeah, they actually show the seed. So yeah, this feels like Hades. Over the shoulder, Hades with a PS4 over the shoulder God of War camera, which is bad for a game like this, that runs as poorly as it does. So congratulations, Switch owners, you have God of War at home. Shame it looks and runs like this. Again, I'm not bothered by the art style. It's just it's a nicer looking art would be a nice to have. I'll just put it that way. But it's not a deal breaker. I'm more concerned about the frame rate and the combat and the frame rate and the combat and the very repetitive level design so far. We'll see how it goes.
I have managed to
I'm pressing the A button to initiate the dialogue. It takes like 7 seconds for them to start talking.
I get my
Like it feels like the game broke, or it feels like it's not responding to my interaction button press. It's weird. Much like this game's title.
he's in the word.
Wyrd, sorry. It's Wyrd is weird.
Can't say I'm surprised. Isn't that stuff there like lucky? I wonder how much is rotted his brain.
I'm sorry, is that too political? Okay, so we're gonna go back in probably. So I got 81 thingies. I don't know if I can do anything with them. I pressed A. Okay. Took them 7 seconds for them to respond. So again, I pressed the button to initiate, and it feels like the game's not responding. It's weird. Word. So where are we going? Yeah, here. So we're going that way. So is there a key I have to get from somebody else? Waiting, waiting, waiting. There we go.
You called your comm station, Betty?
Yeah, after my mom. I can see every electrical impulse in her, and I can tell her flow is all wrong. She just needs
Can't not the hustle.
to get
I
things
could tell. Oh, is he doing like a discount Danny DeVito thing? That's not Danny DeVito.
and we're done.
And we done.
Come with me.
And we done. I kind of dig that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pressing the A button. Still waiting. Okay. I pressed the A button to inspect. So I'm pressing A right now. So it's just looking around, and that's okay. So that's all it is. Okay. God, it's terrible how bad this game runs. I might download a patch later, but there is a very slim chance I'll be renting this game again. Now, would I buy for $5? If I could trade it in for 7. Yeah, we have Hades at home, kids. We have God of War Hades. We have God of War Hades at home.
Corresponds to somewhere in our world. So, we're trying to figure out exactly where you were. Now, the combination of religious imagery and the style of armor suggests something like 12
That's a very familiar. That's another familiar voice.
and that ties in with the psychic spike report in Italy.
Italy?
Psychic Spike.
Krakow. It's a perfect fit. Creepy, abandoned, old.
That is entirely supposition without more data.
Surely it's at least a hypothesis. It's Krakow. I bet you dollars to crackers.
Pretty sure that's not the phrase.
Right. Malapropisms. And what we got? Pressing the A button, still waiting, waiting, waiting for the load times, and now we can speak. There we go.
How's your journey into the word? Honestly, didn't care for it much.
Didn't care for it much. Locals were real and friendly.
But fascinating, I am sure. I have so many questions.
How is being bound to an etheric tether? Pretty impressed Altman managed to cook one up so quickly. Also a physical pull back here? Did it kind of flop around or what?
Didn't notice it after a while.
Didn't notice it after a while. I know this freaking. I have to go to the credits. It's driving me up a. I know this guy. I swear I know this guy's voice.
That if it is destroyed, one is lost in the astral plane for all eternity. That's reassuring.
The fact that breaking it didn't lead to being stuck in some kind of gray, endless limbo is good, right?
Yeah. Well, I've got a whole field to investigate. I'll let you know if I find out anything folklore.
Oh, glory. Okay, I do like some of the voice acting here actually. So they have a pretty good voice cast for this. It's just a shame about the actual game. Objectives. Agents delving deeper into the world. Okay. So I don't know what happened there, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know if we're making progress really. Let me check on something. It's driving me nuts. So I can't quit. Why can't I quit? Oh well. I can't quit this game. So we already spoke to it. No, we haven't. It's Crispin Freeman, right? Yeah, it's Spike Spiegel. It's Spike Spiegel.
You never told us what happened in there. Why did your precognition crap out?
Do you know how my ability works?
This is warning if you're gonna kick the bucket, right? Always seemed pretty useful to me.
Yeah. It shows me what's gonna happen to me.
Only me.
Nobody else. Starting to think it's not as useful in a team. Anyway, in the Wyrd, I can see myself dying a million different ways.
Word.
Over and over again. And all at once. Damn. I feel like my brain is trying to crawl out of my skull. I'm telling you, we're not supposed to be in that place. It messes with your head.
Well, I'm okay so far.
Yeah.
We have
Well, I'm okay so far. Yeah.
Give someone
So yeah, I'm probably gonna, like I said, I'll probably find some other way to get the voice acting clips in here, but I might, in fact, there's a chance I might just add some extra footage to get to hear some of the voice acting. But yeah, so the voice acting seems okay. Again, it's just wouldn't be the first video game with a good voice cast and terrible visuals. So there's more than one. Maybe I need a key from another place. So this is how I quit. Okay, so I have to go there to quit. That's odd. Okay, so let me get it. We're not gonna go through the whole thing. I just want to see some of the credits. Lance Reddick. That's not the voice I thought it was. That's not the voice I thought it was. Sherazade. Yeah, I don't know. Puya. Steve Blum. Oh, sorry. What I call it? Who did I say it was? Stephen J. Blum. Yeah, who did I say? I accidentally called him somebody else. I apologize. It's Spike Spiegel. Stephen J. Blum. Yeah, Bumper Robinson. Yeah, that's a name of the guy with the beard. So I do know his name. Piotr Michael. So what was I thinking of? Lance Reddick. Again, I've heard his voice in some other stuff. I just don't know where. Yeah, but I have heard his voice before. I wonder if he's related to a classmate I had back in the day. Oh, who was Black Korean, just for the record. But on another note, I guess I thought the name sounded familiar. So we'll see how it goes. So I guess we'll try it in like 10 more minutes, see how we do. Yeah, because I gotta bounce. I gotta take this thing back to the library.
Hellboy, I found out a little more from the
A
house.
little more from the
The
house.
architect was Claude Fayette
Pragdo.
Why do I know that name?
He was a member of Blavatsky's Theosophy Society. Wrote books on the intersection of architecture and magic.
Okay.
Okay, we'll skip through some of this. I gotta get through another worm run. Sorry, word. Gotta get through another word run. So we can't go in here yet? Okay, so that's probably another entrance. Okay, so we have to go to this hub, and then go to a different door, I guess. So where's the other door? Yeah, I don't remember where the other door would be. Because I accidentally found it last time. Yeah, this is it, right? Yeah, it's it. Yeah, it's it. Okay. I guess that's an interesting way to do it. So yeah, I mean, again, at the risk of being that grumpy guy, I'm like, yeah, I would just make this a top-down action game. I don't know who made the decision to make it look like this, but I can understand them trying to do a God of War thing, but God again, a PS4 God of War thing. Wish they had done a PS2 God of War thing. It makes the combat easier to keep track of. And arguably a PS2 game would run better on a Switch than a PS4 game with like a lower polygon budget. And arguably this art style would look better on a PS2 polygon budget, right? Well, split the difference. Make it look like a PS3 game with the zoomed out camera.
A hero who explores not is no hero.
Okay. Creates a chance. So I don't know what that crap is that I'm picking up because I bounced last time before actually getting anything. Yeah, I completely aborted the attempt. Down it goes. I wonder if there was another entry point I was supposed to go to instead. Okay, where's the elite? There he is. He's up there. Just a second. So we'll avoid the minions entirely. Got me. It's just block, huh? Wrong button. Is that the wrong button? A lot of dumb hits I'm taking. So I got one pip of health, I guess. No, I guess that's gold. Okay, what button is the block button? I probably screwed that up. Actually, I know I screwed that up. You turn on pre-attack warnings. I guess you have to do that in a game like this so you don't telegraph stuff properly. I want to say, what was it? Like games like, well, Bayonetta telegraph stuff, but I mean games like Batman will have like, well, you can counter, yes. The idea is that eventually someone's countering you quickly. Someone's countering you, like someone's triggering that counter meter. Toughness. I don't know what toughness means in this context. So again, see, Hades doesn't have this problem. In Hades, you have to kill the entire mob. Here, you just have to take out the elite. So I haven't bothered worrying about anyone else at this point. Maybe in other levels that won't be allowed. I don't know. This seems weird. Wyrd. What do we got? So I recovered health. Okay. Yeah, recovered health. Lance Reddick is driving me nuts. I know that voice. Where have I heard that from? Ow. I'm holding down the Y button for these super hits. That camera is not helpful, by the way. Whoop. I guess maybe he was an elite. Wall stun. There we go. Yes, this is not the way you want to play a game like this. You gotta zoom the camera out so you can get your bearings. You gotta zoom the camera out to get your bearings, and because the controls are so sluggish, like because the frame rate's so sluggish. I mean, it limits your ability to do the really interesting stuff, like the dodging and all that. So I say the frame rate and the camera angle, the frame rate combined with the camera angle is going to be a deal breaker for me. I pressed the A button. I'm still waiting for a response. There we go. Maybe that's the key I need. Press the A button. A. I'm still pressing the A button. Do I not have a key to interact with this? Maybe I need a key to interact with it. I mean, again, it's hard to tell because you'll press the I can press the A button to interact with something, then it'll just sit there like an idiot for 5 minutes, and it won't recognize that you pressed the button. There's no feedback to the player that conveys that you're able to interact with this object. This thing is just sloppy. I mean, it's not a beta. It's better. I would say it's a beta, but you just needed a bit more. Need a bit more time in the oven, I'm afraid. It's a shame. So I think we needed that key, otherwise I can't get any further, right? Is that the problem? Okay, there's another door here at least. Again, there's no map. Again, you don't always know where the exits are like you do in Hades, so that's weird. Wyrd. So I guess I'm countering him with the super punch. 3 super punches and a wall bash. You have to work on the timing. Because the other problem is because you have this over the shoulder camera view, you have to gauge. It's harder to gauge distances. I mean, this isn't exactly Elden Ring we're playing. Boom! So I had to hold down the attack button to get those charged punches, and they stun him.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, those charged punches will stun him. Yeah, like, if the combat gets better, it's ultimately going to be held back by this really choppy frame rate and how unresponsive a lot of these controls are. So, again, I'm not gonna guarantee the game would have run better if it looked like a PlayStation 2 top-down brawler like God of War, but this camera angle with this over-the-shoulder view with this frame rate is not gonna do this game any favors. So there is a chance a patch might have fixed it, but this game's a no-go. It's too weird. Another 8-second delay before the character interacts with me.
Process the pain too long. Let them know.
However, I may heighten the trauma, grant you blessings when they are deserved.
Yeah. So again, even the dialogue exchanges are sluggish. Like it takes a long time to load them up. So that's bad. Blessing the same technique. Okay. So guess we'll do this. Retribution fist. Catch these hands. Get over here, but I can't. Where can I go? Like, can I bust through walls with it? I mean, is that a permanent upgrade? I guess because I don't know if I can actually get out of here. Like I said, I'm probably gonna bounce on this game. I kind of want to go through something of a whole run, but my provisional review of this game, like if this video were a pack watch of an upcoming video game, I'd say it has some very good performances and an intriguing art style, but the performance will need some tweaking before release, I hope. But yet, this is the finished cartridge that I obtained from a library. Version 1.03, yeah, they need to work on 1.04. Or I would argue 1.1 at this point. Because this ain't it, dog. So, is this game is this game worse than Heavenly Sword? Heavenly Sword is uniquely awful. I would argue the visuals are better. Heavenly Sword. Holy crap, that was a AAA launch title, wasn't it? Ow. That was a AAA launch title, dog. Well, I thought I avoided that. But it charged up my meter, so here we go. 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Okay, I guess I'm leaving. Okay, that's fine. So leaving. Oh, so I guess I was able to leave. Okay, so leaving the level is actually more efficient than waiting for a dialogue exchange to start. It's wild. It's weird. It's Hellboy, the Book of Wyrd on the Nintendo Switch. a cartridge I obtained from the Maryland Library System. This game was captured. This game was mounted and captured on the J5 Create 4K UHD capture device. I can play on my flat screen, so I can see all the frames with less input lag, like it would matter in a game like this. Unfortunately, the HDMI pass-through is how I'm playing this on a TV, and I have the game plugged into my quad-core Gateway Silver laptop. 4 gigs of RAM. I think I want to bounce on this. Can I suspend this? I kind of want to suspend this. See if it'll let me do it. I made it to a second level, so I managed to get something out of this. Still waiting. I do like the dialogue in this game, actually, so I'm gonna give it some props for that. I don't think the dividend gave me anything. Oh yeah, we can increase that from level 1 to level 2. Okay. Is there a way to see my blessings, like in Nice Seed? Is there a way for me to see my blessings in this game, like in God of War? No. Because when you pause the game in God of War, you can see all of your blessings. I'm just saying. And that game's like from 2020, right? Yeah, it's a 2020 game. 2020, Hades was the best thing about 2020, I've been told. The best thing about the worst year.
Nice.
Here we go. Accept challenge. Sometimes rooms in the Wyrd will lock down. So yeah, this is what Hades does for every room. I think I accepted the challenge. What if I don't want to accept the challenge? Well, too late now. Aim for that guy. There you go. Ground pound. Just from above. Just from above. Is that all of them? Nope. So I actually have to beat the minions this time. Okay, so there are minions, but thankfully they don't really attack you when you target the elites. And thanks for the tip. Oh, here they are. Okay, so I guess there are more minions. Whoops, miss. Stunned. Bang. Not dead yet. Hey, he is dead. Okay. Again, it was a bit of a wind up on that in terms of the load times. Nope, can't bust through that. So I think the whole point was to defeat two of the elites. Maybe I should just use my supercharge. I should have used my ZR. Oh well. Give me the loot. Eh. Okay. Blessing. Blessing of Denevu? Denevo? I did it right. That's it. No other weapon equipped. Maybe I can get different weapons as I get stronger later in the game. Yeah, but we're gonna have to bounce. I don't want to do this for another half hour. Again, got things to do. I shouldn't have spent so much time on Twitter this morning. I shouldn't have spent time on Twitter. I could have ended that sentence at Twitter. I don't have enough money to awaken anything. Oh well. I need 110 of those thingies. I only have 118 of those thingies. So I need 250 of them. There we go. Okay, we're good. Yeah, not exactly a thrilling game. Potential, but poor design, unfortunately, and poor cameras. Boom! Get book, get book, get book, get book, get book. Block this. Oh, ZR, ZR. Yeah, that's the ZR. There we go. Get book, get book, get book, get book, get book. Too legit to quit.
Dumbass.
Yeah, that's the kind of game this is. Yeah, that's the kind of game this is. This game is rated T for terrible graphics. This game is rated T for violence and language. Yeah. That's the one-liner. That's it. He said the thing. I do like the dialogue otherwise, though. I mean, it's nothing as dumb as Mortal Kombat 11. What was that line? What the FS? What the FS is going on? What? I can't say the line. Not just because it's inane, and not just because it's brain-bustingly inane, but uh, what a terrible game. I mean, okay, like Mortal Kombat might be interesting in terms of gameplay. I can never bother to. I own it on Xbox One. It was completely free. Mortal Kombat X. But I mean, every time I play it, I'm like, whatever. Seems interesting, I suppose. Like it just feels like really boring. It's probably an okay brawler, though. I need to. Again, it's free on the Xbox One, so I need to get around to actually playing it. I think it's the 360 port, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but I get the whole lot. You're the faithless king, I guess?
Perhaps thou art Dash.
Look, buddy, I just want to stop this place from breaking my place.
I think not. And I say, thou shalt go no further.
Dummy. Careful. Yeah. Oh, he was just blocking. I thought he was telegraphing. Up. Bump him up against the wall. Heavy attacks cannot be blocked. Okay. Keep bumping me against. Whoops. That hurt. Whoops. Probably should have dodged that. Keep bumping me against the wall. Keep bumping me against the wall. Heads up. Yeah, thought I hit him. Stunned. And down. Bust him in the face. Hey, no fair! So I can't use a ZR attack till that meter is full. Yeah, missed. Again, this camera is not amazing. Yes, camera is not amazing. Careful. It wasn't FU attacks what that was. I tried to dodge it. It was bad aim. ZR. Did I get him? Had to hold the B button down to close the distance. Careful. Had to bust him in the mouth to break his block. Careful. Thought I dodged that, but whatever, it's just bad timing. Is he laughing at me? Zeesh! Cannot be! Okay, we're good? Yeah, we're good. So maybe actually beat a boss. Yeah, this game's bad. I probably... Part of me, I'm sort of fascinated by it, because if I gave it another hour, I'm probably going to hate it, but... I know this thing's going to be bad, but I'm willing to play deeper to see... I'm willing to see how bad it gets. But, yeah. This isn't a bad game in the sense that I have no interest in playing it anymore ever. It's bad in the sense that I know it's bad and I'm curious how bad it gets if I like pick it apart. So there are some games that are bad, but you don't want to spend any time with them because they're just a chore. Well, actually, let me rephrase this. God of War 4 is not a bad game. It's just boring. Special seems to dormant, huh? Interact, so I probably can't interact with it. But, okay, so I did complete the objective, okay. So, part of me, okay, some games of God of War is like, okay, this game's going to get better later, but it's just really, really boring. And then there's this, where it's like, I know this game is bad. Like, it's objectively worse than God of War on the PS4. But, it's probably going to be interesting to see how bad it gets later. So we're in the Seven Deadly Sins, Knights of Britannia tier of games that are obviously bad, but I kind of want to see it through, if that makes sense. So we'll end this video very shortly. Well, I got the thing. There are 5 things, huh? Let me see what this is. Unlock unuseful combat abilities and other upgrade material. Okay.
You brought something back from the
Other
war?
upgrade. Yep.
I did.
Give me the loot.
This the kind of thing you were looking for?
Yes. Let's hear what it has to say.
Amazing. Was she using a PKE meter?
It is so much rage. Something is in the word that should not be. That's why the spikes are occurring.
Okay, that fits.
Oh, I nearly forgot.
Well, that's unexpected.
Well, correlation isn't necessarily causation, and adding his relic to the converter. See,
Well, how about that?
How about that? So do I get more powers here? I don't know. I insist that if this game had more time in the oven, it actually might be good. And if they pulled the camera back and made it more of a top-down action game, yes, I will claim all of those things. So this is Hellboy. Mike, I can't pronounce his name. Hellboy, Web of Wyrd on the Nintendo Switch. This research stream is done. There is a slim chance I'll play more of this later to see if it gets significantly more interesting. But for now, this is in the C minus D tier. It's the camera and the frame rate are really bad, and all that sluggish performance makes the game incredibly sort of tiring to play. So, yeah, I knew this thing was going to be bad, but I was willing to give it a shot to see if it was at least interesting bad. Maybe it is interesting bad. So yeah, for $5, it might be an interesting check. And again, if you can sell the game when you're done, that might be okay. But this game feels like a $10 bargain bin find. But nah, do like the dialogue though, and the voice acting is actually not bad. So there's potential there. Someone has to remake this, maybe in a decade or so. Some Hellboy fan will pay a bunch of money to remake this game and make it like not awful.